let's get the final underway, folks, and let's go to battle. It is Sam Prendergast with the kick-off, and the ball is immediately kicked towards the Hogan stand side. It'll go out for a Leinster line-out, and it is caught well by Tommy O'Brien. Very fast start to the game, and we're going to have our first line-out of the game. This is a big talking point, as the Bulls line-out has been one of the best in World Rugby this season.
Just getting some of the moisture off the ball here is the Leinster hooker, Dan Sheehan. And handling will be crucial in all aspects of the game today, not just the line-out. Obviously, very, very wet conditions. The rain's been coming down here in Dublin all day long. As the crowd rise to the sound of the first line-out for Leinster, taken well by Jack Conan, the captain. They thought to go to the maul and said Van der Fleer in his distinctive red scrum cap looks to bring it forward, and the Bulls just about keep Leinster inside their half of the pitch. Yeah, Luke McGrath looking for the box kick. Very late replacement in for Jamison Gibson Park just this morning. It's a high ball up. Very well taken by the Bulls.
Very well taken by Sebastian de Klerk. Rises highest. We are almost, or just behind the halfway line, I should say, about 10 metres behind. It's popped left by scrum half Ambrose Papier, and Leinster are quick to the gain line, pushing them back a little bit. Luke McGrath, one of the big talking points of him is potentially his struggles with the box kick, but that was a good first one. It is responded by Ambrose Papier, who kicks highest, and it is taken well by Jimmy O'Brien, who breaks left. We're 10 metres to the left of the centre line now, and it's a big tackle by the Vodacom Bulls. Breaks for Geordie Barrett, little grubber kick all the way to the Cusack stand sideline. James Lowe progressing with the tackle, and that's a big tackle by Leinster. The ball pops up, pops around and bounces a little bit, and eventually it is a scrum Leinster for a knock-on by the Bulls. That is a great bit of early pressure from the blue side.
And that's a real statement of intent from Leinster. They are setting their stall out immediately, that they're going to be very aggressive in their attack. They're going to put the Bulls under constant pressure, force them into quick decisions. And if they're not fast enough, like they weren't just there, they will commit the errors as we go to the first scrum of the day. And this, Evan, is a big part of the tactics for both teams.
Massive part of the tactics, and the big sort of battle of the day is Andrew Porter versus Wilco Lowe. The Bulls, it has been said in the media, of the most dominant scrum in club rugby, and then of course Porter, one of the best loose head props in world rugby. So this is going to be a battle in the scrum. We are almost on that Cusack stand sideline, about 10 metres inside the Bulls half, and the feed into the scrum is by Luke McGrath. Referee not happy with that one. Scrum collapses, front rows on both sides dropping to the floor in what is a very smoggy Drumcondra.
This is interesting because Leinster said during the week that they were going to try to use this scrum to win penalties. Normally with the scrum, of course, you might be using it to set up an attacking play, bring it to the back, maybe inch forward a couple of metres, and then run it through the backs. But not today. They'll be looking to put the Bulls under pressure, force them into mistakes. Despite the statistical advantage that the Bulls have in that regard, Leinster will look to turn the tables.
I tell you what, every time both teams go down for this scrum, the atmosphere absolutely erupts here in Croke Park. Feed into the scrum now. McGrath feeds in and both packs push, and Leinster have won the penalty. They've done exactly what they thought. Luke McGrath initially picks up the ball, looks to pop it quickly, but they're going to just take a moment to think about this one and see, do they go for the posts? I believe they are. Sam Prendergast has ball in hand, and he may look to go for the post. We are about 5 metres away from the Cusack stand sideline, and I stand corrected. Leinster are going for the corner. It's kicked off the right boot of Sam Prendergast, and it will be just inside the 21, 18 metres away from the try line on the Cusack stand sideline. We're going to have the second line out of the game. Big opportunity for Leinster.
More aggression from the Blues there. There was an opportunity to take 3. Now, granted, it was a difficult kick, but Sam Prendergast, obviously a very, very talented kicker from the tee. As the line out comes in, and it's a ball straight off the back, and it's James Lowe. James Lowe inside for Gary Ringrose. Breaks the first tackle, but now it's Van der Fleer. Van der Fleer again doesn't go to ground immediately. Leinster slowly but surely making gains. They're
We've gone
looking at the 5 metre line. Oh, that was a colossal hit.
Big hit on
Jack Conan,
yeah,
I think
on
it was.
And Leinster have gone all the way from left to right. We're closer to the Hogan stand sideline now than we were. Sam Prendergast standing in at scrum half. There's some massive hits going in from the Bulls. Geordie Barrett's taken one right to the chest, and
he's won the penalty.
As high, that will be a penalty for Leinster. We are about 10 metres away from the try line. And this is a very interesting decision. Sam Prendergast, once again, is going to kick it off the right boot, and it will be a line out for Leinster.
Just a little glance back there at his pack, but I don't think it was too much of a tricky decision. They're quite close to the Hogan stand, very far away from the post in terms of being central. So yeah, it was a good decision. I have noticed though that Tommy O'Brien has been on the sideline for a bit with a medical man next to him. Maybe getting a little bit of attention. I think they were looking at the hands, but he's good to go now. He's back on the pitch as Leinster, with their third line out already, only 5 or so minutes into the game.
And it is going to be Dan Sheehan who will have the feed into the line out. A little bit of discussions amongst the Vodacom Bulls teams and our match official. And now we are all ready to go. Hands are up in the air and Leinster raised highest. Maul now in progression, and the Bulls are looking to keep this strong pack. Jake White, director of rugby at the Vodacom Bulls, described it as the Irish pack that the Bulls were going up against, and now the ball pops out, and it is Dan Sheehan who has it in hand. Leinster look to recycle, quickest and over the line. It is a dive by Leinster. Over the line, it is the first try of the day, and it is Jack Conan, the captain. The Wicklow man is over. Leinster 5, Vodacom Bulls 0.
They wanted the Irish pack. They got the Irish pack straight over the line. Consistent, patient pressure from Leinster. Inch their way up the pitch, play by play by play, and they used their power to break through the Bulls and land the first telling blow. And we'll see now Sam Prendergast with his first kick of the day to add the extras. I did manage to see them in their kicking practice on Thursday here at Croke Park, and swirling winds made it quite difficult. Obviously the conditions not easy today. Let's see how Prendergast does. The kick goes up, the roar goes up. It's 7-0 to Leinster. A perfect start for the team who topped the United Rugby Championship this season.
A sweet strike from the right boot of Sam Prendergast, and it will be Leinster 7, Vodacom Bulls 0. Leinster in the earlier contest between these two this season on the 22nd of March got a try in the 3rd minute with Geordie Barrett on that occasion. Of course, he is arguably the one who created that opportunity, but it is Jack Conan who goes over after about 5 minutes of play. It is Ambrose Papier who gets us restarted from centre pitch, and it is caught nicely by Leinster. Prendergast boots it straight back over to the Hogan stand sideline, and it is chased down and caught by, not Papier, sorry, it is Johan Goosen, but it'll go out for a Bulls line out at about 5 metres inside the Leinster half on the Hogan stand side.
A little bit of a worry there for Prendergast. He didn't take that catch entirely cleanly. A little bit of a fumble at the time, but he got it under control. We will be mentioning the conditions today because it was multiple times, because it'll be a big factor in the game. You sense that it could become a war of attrition, but the Bulls now with their first line of the day. It's been poached. It's been poached, taken by Tom Clarkson.
Brilliant.
The number 3 of Leinster. And now Van der Fleer takes the pass from Luke McGrath. McGrath now looking for the box kick, protected by James Ryan.
Up in the air it goes by Luke McGrath, and it's heading once again for the Hogan stand sideline. We've got a lot of close action on our sideline here up on the commentary gantry, but that's just the way it's played out. All the kicks going this way. It will be a Bulls line out, went out on the full, so we will bring it back to where the kick was taken. Big talking point, suppose only today really, is Luke McGrath coming into this Leinster team. It was always meant to be Jamison Gibson Park, but it's believed to be a lower limb injury that is keeping him out. Luke McGrath coming into this one sort of very quickly, wouldn't have been expected to play, but he is a good player, is McGrath. 55 tries in a Leinster jersey, and they'll be looking to perform. Line out is thrown in, and once again, bit of a miscommunication by the Bulls, but they get away with it this time round. A big tackle from Leinster, first real tackle of the day, pushing the Bulls all the way back behind the gain line. Papier has to hit it with a box kick, and it bobbles towards the Leinster 21, right in the middle of the goalposts, and Bulls looking for
squirted loose.
It is loose, it bobbles around the pitch. It was picked up by Prendergast and chucked to Van der Fleer off his left shoulder, and Van der Fleer has it in the hand, takes it to the ruck. Oh, and there's a bit of afters. There's a little bit of afters, and there's a bit of push and shoving in the centre of the pitch, but referee says play on. It's a feisty contest.
Joe McCarthy went down. Clarkson was straight in there to back up his teammate, but the issue seems to have resolved itself. Now James Lowe will boot the ball out of trouble, and that was what they were setting up for Leinster before things got a little bit spicy away from the play. The conditions again played a part there. The ball was bobbling around. It didn't come to Tommy O'Brien first time, and Leinster decided just cool things down a bit, get the ball away from their try line and regroup and allow the Bulls to come again.
It's very reminiscent of Paris in 2023, this Ireland versus South Africa, where things got really tasty very early on, and you can tell this is a rivalry out on the pitch, is Leinster and the Bulls. The Bulls have been victorious 4 times these two teams have met, and Leinster only the one. As old as a replay put on the screen, and the fans here in Croke Park not liking it too much. Referee is going to go to his TMO here to discuss this one, so we'll have a break in on-field action. TMO for this one, a fellow Italian, Mattia Lipperini. And of course, your 2 assistant referees, Mike Adamson and Sam Grove-White of the SRU in Scotland. We'll have a discussion with his TMO this one. There's a bit of pushing and shoving out on the pitch. So Leinster 7, Bulls 0. 9 minutes and 41 played with the clock stopped, as the referees are just stood on the 21, closer to the Hogan stand side.
There's a hand over the mouth, I believe, of McCarthy from the Bulls number 12. That is Harold Vorster.
Vorster could be in a spot of bother here.
So there's a bit of handbags, then they go down, and yeah, it's not anything major. Obviously, everything looks worse in slow motion. Hand over the face. Maybe rakes it away.
Harold Vorster has 1 yellow card already this season in his 19 appearances for the Vodacom Bulls. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to be another, and it could be a massive turning point very early on. So,
yeah, the Bulls have a team of the worst discipline in the URC the whole season. 16 yellow cards and 4 reds. Leinster, meanwhile, very, very disciplined. Only 4 yellows throughout the whole campaign. As we're just getting this same angle over and over again. It's kind of the only one we have.
So Harold Vorster puts the hand straight in the Leinster player's face, and they sort of fall to the ground. And then Tom Clarkson comes rushing in and pushes Vorster off it. It is Joe McCarthy who got the hand in the face while he was lying on the ground. It seems like the referee has come to a decision here, so we will find out sooner rather than later. It is Leinster captain Jack Conan who is walking alongside the Italian official.
I do think it is Vorster that they're looking at, because all Clarkson's guilty of is just pushing Vorster out of the way. Here comes the decision.
And
penalty Leinster.
So Vorster getting away without a booking, but it is a penalty definitely to Leinster. The Italian official awards it, and Leinster will be kicking for touch from their own 21. Bit of a get out of jail free card there, because they were under a bit of pressure initially.
I think that would have been unbelievably harsh if Vorster was sent to the bin. There wasn't really much in it. It was handbags, as we like to say.
Setting the tone.
Yeah, and it would take a very courageous referee to bin a player this early in a grand final.
And Croke Park here, certainly not absent of Springboks. If you are a South African fan or a Vodacom Bulls fan joining us, hello and a big welcome to Drumcondra. It's not the nicest of days weather-wise. There is grey clouds above the stadium and a lot of rain out on the pitch. It's going to be quite slippy. There will be handling errors, but certainly not from the line-outs, and that's what we have now. Almost on the halfway line, closer to the Bulls' goal. Dan Sheehan to throw. Referee not too happy with the gap in the middle and is going to separate the two teams that little bit more. Now Sheehan prepares for the throw. Leinster shuffle towards the back and shuffle straight back up again, and it is James Ryan who rises highest, and now the maul is on the go, and the Bulls are in 6s and 7s at the back of this maul. They've just recollected themselves, and Luke McGrath is called into action to potentially dispatch this rugby ball. Geordie Barrett is eager, waiting in his luminous orange boots that are bright, that are certainly setting the stadium alight so far. James Ryan back with the ball in hand as it's popped to Barrett's right. Bulls with some big tackles though, pushes Leinster back to where the line-out was initially. Luke McGrath with the box kick, and it's dinked up in the air. Chasing it is Tommy O'Brien, and he almost rises highest. It bobbles, and Leinster have retained the ball here. What a brilliant piece of play. It is dispatched by the stand-in scrum half Jack Conan to his left-hand side. We're almost at the Bulls 21.
Prendergast out through the backs now, and it's in centre field now. Geordie Barrett trying to pop it over the side to Tommy O'Brien. That's a very good pass, and inside him is Dan Sheehan. Dan Sheehan inside the 22, but the referee has pulled it back, and I think that is a forward pass by Geordie Barrett. It did look borderline. I mean, if it had come off from him, it would have been spectacular, but just a bit in front of where it needed to be, and it will be a scrum now to the Vodacom Bulls.
Yeah, we're having a look at the replay here. James Ryan going into contact initially. They were pushed backward, Leinster, but the Bulls got it out fairly well. Luke McGrath went for the box kick. It was chipped into the air and it was well chased down by Tommy O'Brien.
We got to look there at the replay just there. It was, when you get over the audacity of the pass and the excitement that brings to the crowd, on second glance, yes, it was very much forward.
Jordy Barrett was a day late and a dollar short with that one. It was definitely forward, and the Italian match official doing a great job of warning that one. Scrum goes in, but doesn't.
And the Bulls win the penalty.
Bulls win the penalty. So, in terms of scrummaging, it has been fairly even for both teams. That I believe is 2 errors, and it's going to be Gosson who will take the kick for touch here.
Or not. This isn't going to go into touch.
Free kick, sorry, apologies. So
yes, he's got the Clerk chasing it, but Leinster secure possession just outside their own 10-metre line.
It's Jimmy O'Brien who took it down into the ruck, and Leinster will look to advance the ball. James Ryan gets held up by the Bulls front rower, and now Luke McGrath will dink it over the top, and it's Jordy Barrett to chase. Jordy Barrett at the big kick, and Leinster have a break. It's Jordy Barrett in his last game for Leinster. Over the line. He's been the star man of the show so far. What a try by Leinster. Barrett kicks it again. It's a GAA-style break in headquarters. Leinster have the try, and another 5 points. Leinster 12, Bulls 0.
I don't think the contribution by Luke McGrath should go unnoticed here. He seems to be really liking those box kicks today. It's clear that Leinster have spotted something in the Bulls that might make them susceptible to that. But this was a little tap compared to the other ones he's done. And then Barrett got to it first in front of 2 Bulls players. And it was him and O'Brien leading the charge, breaking the Bulls line as Prendergast knocks the conversion between the posts. Once there were 2 men honing in on the Bulls line, there was no way that they were going to be able to prevent the try. And you're right, Evan, in Croke Park, it's the perfect place for skills like that.
I tell you what,
reminiscent of what his brother Bowden did to seal the Rugby World Cup for New Zealand in that final in 2015. And the Bulls, well, they portrayed themselves as the underdogs in the week leading up to the game, despite their stellar record against Leinster. And they very much look like underdogs now.
Jordy Barrett, if you don't fancy going back to New Zealand, there's probably a corner forward spot for Dublin. Anyways, we get restarted here. Jordy Barrett's 7th try of the season, is 7th try in the Leinster jersey. It is a similar kick right underneath the post. Prendergast catches it and dispatches it to the Hogan stand sideline. It'll be a Vodacom Bulls line-out 5 metres inside the Leinster half on the Hogan stand side. We're getting a look at the replay here. Tommy O'Brien arguably had the pace on Jordy Barrett, but I think he was always going to leave that one for the Kiwi. Yeah,
and the bounce went inside, closer to where Jordy Barrett was, so they shouldn't be scrapping over that try. It's a final, it's not the place for stuff like that. And meanwhile, it's a Bulls line out. Here it comes from Grobbelaar. He's got his own red scrum cap now, just matching Josh Flander-Fleer. Bit of a delay getting the throw in. The Bulls trying to set up their stall. And it goes straight to the back, and the Bulls go to the maul.
Maul now in place, but not much progression by
used
the Bulls.
Once.
Yeah.
The Bulls got to do something here.
The Bulls have to do something.
Leinster might even want to turn this over. No, the Bulls have it free.
Oh, big challenge. Big challenge from Andrew Porter on the Bulls runner.
De Klerk ran into a blue wall there, and the next tackle drives them back over their 10-metre line.
Captain Ruan Nortier not progressing at all there. He was pushed back, and now we're in the middle of the pitch, and it is bobbling around for the Vodacom Bulls. Papier. Oh, and look at this. This is a great bit of play from the Vodacom Bulls.
Knocked
just
forward,
skipping past one. It's been knocked forward, and just as they looked like they were getting a little bit of progression on the right-hand side of the pitch, they have knocked it forward. Handling issues for the South African side.
The pressure that Leinster are putting on the Bulls at the moment is just phenomenal. As soon as the ball comes out of that ruck, Leinster are on them like a rash, and the Bulls will have to keep composure or come up with something very inventive to keep this storm off them.
It was a brilliant bit of play by David Creel, the 26-year-old South African, to get the offload towards his winger Sebastian de Klerk, but de Klerk just knocking it forward. And now Leinster will have the put into the scrum. Luke McGrath stand-in scrum half for Jemison Gibson Park. Will have the feed in. And it will be another driving scrum by Leinster. As we've said, scrums have been fairly even today. Be interesting to see how this one goes. We're in the middle of the Leinster 22 and the 40-metre line.
the Bulls will feel like they'll need to get something now. Their scrummaging has been so good all year, and it goes down, but it's gone Leinster's way. Another small battle won by the men in blue as Prendergast goes for the kick. Is that a 50-22? That is absolutely sensational.
His kicking has been under major scrutiny in media, but Sam Prendergast sweeps it with the right foot. It bounces once, it bounces twice, it bobbles over the 21, and as it's heading towards the corner of the Dalton stand, it bounces out into touch, and Leinster will have to put into the line out on the 21-metre line right on the Hogan stand side. Brilliant kick by Prendergast, who I have to say has been looking very composed out there all evening so far. Tactical discussion for the Leinster huddle in the middle of the pitch, but Dan Sheehan is wiping some of Dublin's rain off his hair, because I tell you what, it's not the nicest day for a game of rugby.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that we're underneath the roof here on level 7 of the Hogan stand, because I don't know what we'll be able to do. Certainly the electrical equipment we're using will be destroyed. Nonetheless, Dan Sheehan goes short this time, and the maul is for him. Van der Fleer had taken his place just outside the line-out, and then as the Leinster line-out came down, he secured the ball, and he is the central man in this maul.
Josh Van der Fleer just battling his way to ground. Luke McGrath dispatches it to star man Geordie Barrett. Flicks it about 5 metres to his left. McGrath once again feeds it towards Andrew Porter, who dives into contact over the 21-metre line. And it's another little chip kick. It's another little chip kick chased down by Tommy O'Brien and Geordie Barrett. And that's a brilliant tackle, not by Tommy O'Brien. It could have been Jimmy O'Brien with the tackle, just to keep the Bulls pinned inside their own half. Papier is going to have to go for the box kick. Leinster have had a lot of success with them today. Same can't be said for the Bulls. So they don't opt. They go for a
what was that?
Kick. Crossfield
terrible
kick inside their own
straight into the
line.
path of James Lowe. Oh, he knocked it on.
What an
opportunity.
opportunity.
That's such a shame. I don't know what they were thinking. I think that was Willie LaRue, the 2-time World Cup winner for South Africa. Instead of just kicking it as far as he possibly could, he tried something with the outside of his left boot, almost like a crossfield ball, straight down the throat of James Lowe. And well, the conditions probably bailed LaRue out there, because if it was a dry day, I think that sticks to Lowe's fingertips. And third try for Leinster, and this game could have been over inside 20 minutes.
Willie LaRue, at 5 metres away from his own try line, has chipped it with his right foot. It hasn't gone near the touchline or any of his own players, and James Lowe, it just slips out of his fingers. Almost a destined try if he had have caught it, and you would expect a lot better from a 2-time World Cup winner who has a list as long as his arm of experience playing for the Boland Cavaliers, the Cheetahs, the Gorikas, the Canaan Eagles, the Sharks, the Wasps, Toyota Vera Blitz and the Bulls. A bible of teams played in. Very, very weird decision from Willie LaRue, but nonetheless it will be a Bulls put into the scrum approximately 18-19 metres from their own try line. They need to score here. Next score you would think has to go to the South African side, wearing what once was a glistening white. It's now filled with Croke Park's muck. Papier takes the ball out of the scrum, and it will be a penalty for the Bulls. Referee saying Leinster have infringed.
Surprising there, because the Bulls had managed to get the scrum successfully, and they were looking to set up an attack. The ref could have played advantage, but I think on second thought it would probably serve the Bulls a bit better just to be able to get it out of their own half, because the pressure that they're under, I mentioned it before, but they just need something to get them a foothold in this game, because at the moment everything is going Leinster's way.
The Vodacom Bulls, of course, have lost 2 URC Grand Finals, 2022 and 2024. They have an unbelievable set of star players, but they're really struggling here today. The penalty is kicked to the right and put out of play by Johan Gustens, and it will be a Vodacom Bulls feed in to the line-out, approximately 60 metres away from where they need to be. It will be Grobbelaar who will put the feed in. Leinster, of course, 1 line-out turnover so far today. Ball is lofted into the air and it's grasped firmly by the Vodacom Bulls. They're almost on the Cusack stand sideline, and there's not much progression being made here. It is almost a stalemate. Now they're finding a bit of room, but referee is going to tell them to use it. And Papier is going to have to get involved here. Flicks it to his left. Very short pass, and it's another tackle by Leinster. They've been very successful at the gain line so far today, and it seems like there's another handling error. It's a right old tussle on the ground. Papier then opts for the boot. Right boot, lofts it into the air, and it's going to be Leinster who rise highest. It isn't, it bobbles, but no infringement made, and Jordy Barrett now gets underway. And now we're breaking to the right-hand side. Gary Ringrose with a right kick, and it's going all the way towards the Hogan stand side, but that is collected very well indeed by Willie LaRue. One of his better moments so far in this final. He returns it. Lowe doesn't fancy catching it, and it falls to Sam Prendergast. Settles himself, strikes with the right, and does not find touch. So it will be another opportunity for Sebastian de Klerk. It falls back once again to the Vodacom Bulls fullback, and now we have a game of tennis here in Croke Park. James Lowe going to return the kick. Not quite close to touch, as there is an ooh around Croke Park, as it will be Goossens who will return the kick once again, and your neck might get a little bit sore moving left to right here with this one.
Jimmy O'Brien looked to run with it now and takes it inside the Bulls half. Now Leinster trying to go down the Hogan side. He's laid it off to Tommy O'Brien, and now Dan Sheehan. Dan Sheehan slides his way to the 5-metre line, and it just didn't come off. They were looking to pop it up, but now there's a penalty. They're taking it quickly. Tommy O'Brien.
No.
I think he might have taken that penalty too quickly, and it might be a good thing for him that he's being brought back, because he might well have dropped the ball on his way over the try line. So Leinster have another huge opportunity 5 metres from the Bulls line.
He was tackled without the ball is the penalty, and I tell you what, I think it was Ambrose Papier who brought down Dan Sheehan, one of the smallest players on the pitch, taking down one of the biggest players on the pitch. A bit of David versus Goliath right in the corner. Speaking of in the corner, that's where Leinster will take the line out from. Davin stand / Hogan stand corner. Prendergast puts it into touch, and it will be Dan Sheehan who will feed in.
I smell another Leinster maul starring Josh van der Fleer.
Van der Fleer has been phenomenal, and there was a reason he was former World Rugby Player of the Year.
He's got hands on it, does Van der Fleer.
Van der Fleer has
They're pushing,
hungry for
they're advancing, and Van der Fleer! Try number 3 for Leinster, and they're 4 out of 4 in their history here in Croke Park. They are marching their way to 5 out of 5.
Brilliant try. Josh van der Fleer just gets ball in hand. Easy as you like. It's over. We said it. As soon as he gets that ball in his hand from the maul, he is dangerous. 19-0 conversion to come from Sam Prendergast, and despite being very shaky in warm-up, Sam Prendergast is 2 from 2 for his kick so far. This is the furthest distance so far, and there is a regrouping occurring right underneath the goal by the Bulls. They need to get into this game. 23 minutes gone, they find themselves a potential 3 converted tries behind. Prendergast, 2 infamous steps to the left, the right boot awaiting. Ball slightly angled towards the right corner. It is chased down by the Vodacom Bulls, and Prendergast has put that one right and wide. Had the distance by far, but it is a bit of a miss kick, and it will only be 19-0. Only 19-0, we say.
Only 19-0.
After 23 minutes.
I think Leinster would have snapped their hand off for a start like this when they woke up this morning. And, well, Croke Park hasn't been a happy hunting ground historically for South Africans. Now, I say that the only South African representation that was here before this was the national team who came here for an autumn international in 2009, were turned over by 15 points to 10 back when they were coming off their World Cup win in 2007. But the Bulls so far look like they're not going to be able to reverse that trend. But we still got 55 minutes of rugby left. Who knows what's to come, as the high kick goes up and James Lowe underneath it immediately sends it back into Bulls territory. We could be in for another game of tennis here.
Bulls
and they just want to hack it into touch. And Leinster will have the line out somewhere between the 22 and the 10-metre line. Oh no, it's not. It's gone out on the full, excuse me.
Oh no.
And so the line out to Leinster will be in Bulls territory.
I was just about to say, Bulls kicking has been fairly subpar so far today, and that's another example of it. They've really not been on the money with where they have struck the ball, and it will be another Dan Sheehan feed into the line out. Leinster only committing 4 players to this one, so you can't imagine it's going to be a maul. They have all their attackers. Jordy Barrett, both the O'Briens, even Josh van der Fleer seems to be waiting to go on a little bit of a solo run.
Yeah, when Josh van der Fleer is in the back line, you know it's not going to them all. And they're looking to go long with it. And another successful line out for Leinster. Prendergast goes with the kick up high. Barrett chasing. And he's knocked it back to the number 3.
Oh no, it's not, sorry, that is Tom Clarkson.
Tom Clarkson.
Clarkson progressing forward. We are inside the Bulls 21 and Leinster are looking for more. They're hungry for more. They want another try here at Croke Park. Leinster just popped the ball right in the centre of the pitch, almost 5 metres away from the line. The chance.
Prendergast chips to Tommy O'Brien. Oh, it just had a bit too much mustard on it. O'Brien leapt, soared, up for the high catch like a proper GAA man would in this stadium, but it was just beyond his capabilities to take it under control.
Yeah, it was a mini crossfield kick from Sam Prendergast to try and reach O'Brien, but just didn't quite make it, and it will go out to a Bulls lineup. But once again, the Vodacom Bulls are under a lot of pressure here, right on the Hogan stand sideline. And there's been 2 Leinster tries that have come from positions like this. Bulls do have to feed in this time round, so we'll see how it goes. Once again, it will be Grobbelaar who will put it in, and that is not a good line out. Bulls have lost it. Leinster intercept, but they have impeded, and it will be a Bulls penalty. Referee raising the right arm to signal that the Bulls have got away with one. It was Dan Sheehan who infringed, and it will be a Bulls kick into touch, you would assume.
Lovely pink jersey on the referee today, I must say.
Yeah, I have to say, very visible from level 7 here in the Hogan stand.
It's a good kick inside the 10-metre line. Decent attacking platform here for the Bulls, and my goodness do they need it, because it's been a 27 or so minutes that would have been disastrous from a coaching perspective leading up to this game. But they're in that situation now. It's up to themselves to get out of it.
Yep, and the line out is fed in and it is popped straight back to Ambrose Papier, and the Bulls are looking to get an attack going on here. Just over the halfway line, middle of the pitch, and there's big tackles going in left, right and centre for Leinster. Ruan Nortier dives through the gain line and is looking to try and make inroads here for this Bulls team, and the Bulls are driving forward now somehow, despite 3 Leinster men trying to take them down. And it is going to be Papier who dives in to try and release the ball, uses it as the orange boots of the Bulls flurry around the pitch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Bulls men in orange boots.
James Lowe looking to get this kick again. He hasn't been able to get hold of it.
Loses it. Raised highest to James Lowe as the kick was put into the air, but wasn't able to get it into his grasp, and that will go out for a Vodacom Bulls feed-in. When you look at the metres made, Leinster 131, Bulls 34, an almost plus 100 metre advantage for Leinster, and
that's a reflection of how the game has gone, Evan.
It absolutely is a reflection of how the game has gone. And I tell you what, speaking of 100 metres, we have lots of quick players here on this Leinster pitch, and one of them is Tommy O'Brien, who is actually a 100 metre and 110 metre hurdle winner for his school back in the Leinster Schools Championship. So Tommy O'Brien, there's a reason that he's been so quick, and Geordie Barrett can be quite pleased that he outpaced him earlier.
Indeed. The Bulls looking to set themselves up here for their latest line out. Similar position to their last one, this time it's on the Cusick side of things. They go to the back, and now they will look to go to the maul, but the referee has blown his whistle. And I'm not sure what he's given here, but given the reaction of the crowd and given that a Leinster man has a ball tucked under his arm, it's safe to say that decision gone against the Bulls as we look at it again. It's a very crooked line out. It was almost at the Bulls man outside hand. A pass, basically, rather than a legitimate legal line out. And so another scrum will go to Leinster.
Yeah, not a good line out by the Bulls, and it's another sloppy error that really is a reflection of where this game has gone so far. And it will be a Luke McGrath feed-in to the scrum, and I tell you what, Luke McGrath has stepped up so far today. Really impressive performance so far, stepping in for the injured Jamison Gibson Park, who of course is still badly missed, even despite the start of the game, and Leinster have got. We are in the middle of the pitch, almost closer to the Cusack stand side, and Luke McGrath feeds the ball into the scrum, and the two packs go to charge. Bulls seem to be overpowering, but the ball is popped out very quickly by McGrath. Prendergast gives it to Barrett. Barrett over to the two O'Briens, and it is Tommy O'Brien who grubber kicks it in towards the palms of Willie LaRue. LaRue deals with that excellently, is going to kick it up the line, doesn't go out, so Prendergast will retain the ball, progressing from his own 21. Unsure of what to do, so he raises it high into the Drumcondra sky.
Here comes Lowe.
Sam Prendergast, James Lowe chasing it down, well taken by Gosens. And the Bulls retain possession. Geordie Barrett looking for the tackle, as is Luke McGrath. Josh van der Fleer looking to just try push Bulls off the maul, but the Bulls kick it out towards Sam Prendergast, I should say, and Sam Prendergast gives it to Geordie Barrett. The experienced Geordie Barrett, he'll now raise one towards the sky, and it's not got the distance, it has got the height, and oh, it's a fumble by the Bulls. It's gone backwards, however, so they will retain possession, and it's given to Willie LaRue to deal with that one. He strikes it left, almost towards the Leinster end line, and there's a little bit of a calm in possession.
Jimmy O'Brien waited to see if that was going to dribble over his own try line. It did not, it stopped just short. So he just boots the ball out over the sideline for a line out for the Bulls. Sam Prendergast, meanwhile, is very deep when it comes to these box kicks. A lot of them have come his way. It was him and James Lowe as a pair drifting in around that area. Sometimes him and Jimmy O'Brien, the fullback. But interesting tactical move by Leinster there to have their out half so deep in those situations.
Yeah, very interesting tactical move.
As the Bulls hooker, Johan Grobbelaar, prepares to launch another line out, hopefully a little bit straighter this time if you're a South African rugby fan.
Grobbelaar feeds in, the man from Parel, South Africa, 27 years of age, feeds in, and it falls to Cobus Visa, who takes it into contact, and now there's a little bit of a break here for the Bulls, and they're inside the Leinster 21 for what feels like the first time this evening. Progressing towards the centre of the pitch is the Vodacom Bulls, and now they've just hesitated in possession a little bit. Ball is fed out by Papier, and now they're working it through their hands. Down to contact once again. Great tackle by Joe McCarthy.
Oh, there's space now for Norge, excuse me.
Ruan Nortier breaking forward, and now here comes Cobus Visa once again. Inside 5 metres here are the Vodacom Bulls, and they might be looking for a try. Papier picks it. It's not quite there just yet, just falls short, and there's a ruck right under the goal post, driving towards the post.
They're calling for it on the left. They got a 2-on-1 out there if they can spot it.
Yeah, they need to try feed this ball left. Papier drives himself here, doesn't opt for the pop. No, sorry, it wasn't Papier. He still stands behind the ruck, and the big pack of the Vodacom Bulls progressing forward.
Penalty advantage for the Bulls.
They did have numbers on that left-hand side. They're opting for the right.
And
here they go.
They've been intercepted!
Prendergast. The lights all opened up from, he had a clear path to the opposite try line and was just looking to break, but of course there was penalty advantage for the South African side, so they will retain possession. But almost another opportunity lost there. They're lucky they had that advantage.
They were indeed, and they opted to just keep piling it through the forwards, even though they had a huge numerical advantage out on the left. But they will feel like it is absolutely imperative that not only do they get something out of this, they get 7 out of this. It'd be a huge psychological blow if they didn't. As they look at the tap and go.
Cobus Visa, fumble. It's fumble, but they've retained possession. A little bit further back from where they once were. Another advantage for the Vodacom Bulls, and it is going to be number 7 and captain Ruan Nortier, who looks to progress it forward. There was a knock on, so they are going to take it back for... No, sorry, I think
the first knock on came from the Leinster side, then the Bulls
yes,
side, so it will be a Bulls scrum just underneath the Leinster posts in front of Hill 16.
The crowd actually confused me there because we kind of erupted all of a sudden as soon as the referee blew the whistle, but it will be a Bulls feed in.
Yeah, he stuck out his arm to the Leinster side, and they thought that they'd got the penalty, but in truth he was putting it out to do the knock-on motion to indicate that Leinster knocked on first, then the Bulls.
A bit of a late tackle by Andrew Porter.
Oh dear me, yeah.
And there's another late tackle there. That one
He
did
not do a good enough job wrapping the arms there. It was lucky that his shoulder didn't come anywhere near his head, or that could have been... He could have been in very big trouble for that.
That's 2 of the mullet men in the Leinster's pack. The other one, Joe McCarthy, received a little bit of treatment under the goal post, but he's all okay now, and we're getting ready for a Bulls feed into the scrum. Ambrose Papier will be the one to put the ball down on the floor. He'll be feeding it in from the left-hand side of the scrum, so you'd assume they're going to go to their fast men on the right. Sebastian de Clercq is ready on and waiting on the left for the Vodacom Bulls, and Canon Moody, wearing number 24, is ready on the right. He is their danger man on that wing. Here we go then, referee just getting things underway. Ball put to the floor, two packs go to war, and it is a brilliant scrum by the Bulls, and it is taken out very well by number 6, Marco van Staden.
Ringrose missed the tackle there and went sliding 2 meters behind the Bulls, man. Should give you yet another idea of just exactly what the conditions are like down there. Meanwhile, the Bulls are pushing their men to the right. They're looking to go through the forwards again. And
this is a very Ireland tactic, going through the pack. Yeah. This is something we have seen Andy Farrell and the Ireland team work up from time to time.
Well, the South Africans, they like to bring the power as well. Of course, they innovated the 7-1 split on the bench, so beating opponents into submission through raw power is not an alien concept to them.
It is not, and they are slowly moving from left to right and back and forward in the centre of the pitch, right in between the 21 and the try line. A little bit of yardage gained there by the Bulls. Papier doing an excellent job of managing these rucks. Leinster saying very disciplined and not progressing offside.
Yeah, Leinster have been able to keep the Bulls in roughly the same position as it relates to how far they are from their try line. So
now
they'd be very happy now. Yeah, the Bulls are looking to recycle it a little bit quicker. But the counter and the defence from Leinster in the ruck, looking to turn over the ball, is getting a bit more urgent as well.
And there's a bit of afters on almost every ruck here. This is a very tense contest, despite the score not suggesting it. The Bulls need something here. Papier still diligent at getting that ball out quickly, and it is number 10 of Johan Goossens who takes it to the floor. Now the front rowers have it in hand once again. We're still right in the centre, between the 21 and the try line, right in the centre of Croke Park's famous pitch. The ruck still not really making a lot of ground here. This is excellent defence by the Irish side.
And again, now they're looking to go through the backs. There's a chip over the top, but that's right down the throat of Prendergast. He calls the mark, and the Bulls, after so much effort, so many phases, so much pressure, come up with absolutely nothing. And another big moment in the game goes Leinster's way, as have all of them in truth. 36 minutes gone.
And I tell you what, it is the most capped Springbok once again who's made that error. It was a very poor crossfield kick by Willie LaRue, who is the most capped Springbok, a two-time World Cup winner, can play 3 positions, unbelievably diverse, but that is the second big mistake he's had. Got away with the first one, not got away with the second one here, because that could have been a big scoring opportunity that is admittedly badly needed by the Vodacom Bulls. 35 minutes played, as Sean said. Hope you're enjoying the ADC coverage here of this BKT URC final. There is a substitution here for the Vodacom Bulls, and Yannis Kirsten is going to be coming on and taking to the field of play. We're back underway, and the Bulls have ball in hand from the mark made by Sam Prendergast, but it is another chip towards Sam Prendergast in his own 21. And you would assume this is going to be returned. It absolutely is returned to the Hoganstown side that has treated Leinster so well so far.
Prendergast with another great kick from deep. The Bulls' line out now will be on just inside the 10-metre line. If from GA terms, as we're looking at the pitch, it is roughly at the 65-metre line. We can just about make out the former lines, the GA lines on the pitch. The line out now will come once again from Johan Grobbelaar. They go to the back, securely taken, but the man who's supposed to receive it, JV Van Heerden, fell down. His studs betrayed him, and another case of the slippery surface. And again, they're just forced to kick it again, straight down the throat of Jimmy O'Brien, who looks to go running, beats the first tackle but not the second. Van der Fleer's at the back of the ruck, but instead it goes left towards Jordy Barrett. His grubber kick is blocked, and the Bulls contesting the ruck and contesting successfully.
Yeah, great.
That's a great piece of defending by the Vodacom Bulls, and Willie LaRue up very, very quickly to take the ball and plots their next move. He turns back to have a bit of a word with his pack, and
they need points on the board. So
they do need points on the board, but they need more than just 3. And I don't see the man with the T coming onto the pitch, so they are indeed going to go for the corner. Willie LaRue with his orange left boot, with a very, very accurate kick, just outside the Leinster 5-metre line. As accurate as a kick as you would hope to get from that sort of position. And the Bulls, having squandered a huge attacking opportunity a few minutes ago, have been presented with another 2 minutes before the halftime break.
Not to sound like a comedian, but that's probably Leroux's first accurate kick of the day. It's right in the corner, and there's a great chance here for the Bulls pack to get to work. Of course, they have arguably the best scrum in world rugby. We've not really seen it today, but let's see what they can do here in the maul. Grobbelaar feeds in. We're 5 metres from the Cusack stand side. Bulls are progressing towards the try line. Leinster, though, great defence once again, and Ambrose Papier is called into action.
Penalty.
And it is a penalty. Papier looks for the tap and go, but he's halted swiftly by the Italian referee. Bulls will recuperate, or they will recuperate here, and they will try to get an attack underway.
Yeah, the pack needed time to get back on their feet because they'll need numbers. Oh no, he's going for the corner again.
To be fair, it's been a ferocious first half pace-wise, or certainly the first half of the first half was ferocious pace-wise, so the Bulls are going to need to recoup a little bit here. They're going to go for another line. Now, that worked well the last time.
Yeah.
One dodgy line out this game from the Vodacom Bulls. The rest of them have been okay. Penalty was for collapsing them all, and Johan Grobbelaar will have another go once again. Made his Bulls debut in 2017, did Grobbelaar. He is an experienced veteran of this side. Feeds it in, and the Bulls maul gets to work once again. Progressing forward a little bit more this time, but Papier is still called into action to feed the ball to the fast men. Leinster pounce on the Vodacom Bulls, and Papier, ball pops, but he secures it nicely. We're still in that same position towards the Cusack stand side. Bulls recycle the ball once again to their big men. Poor Sebastian de Clercq is left alone on the left flank. He's not been able to get into action here, and now the big men are carrying it for the Vodacom Bulls. They're sweeping from right to left here in Croke Park, and Ambrose Papier is not actually acting as the scrum half. It is the big men who are picking, popping and going. Cobus Visa is going to have a go at it now and see can he gain some ground. Opts for the right side of the ruck. We're at 39, we're almost at 40 on the clock. Clock going to go into the red. This will be the last attack of the half. And Bulls not making much ground here.
Once again, the Leinster defence is very, very good. And the Bulls, well, they'll be desperate now. 19-7 at half-time. Wouldn't have been ideal, but they would have taken it at the start of the day. 19-0, it would be just so demoralising.
Oh, big tackle by Leinster.
Yeah. Van der Fleer goes in looking for the ball. I think the Bulls have just managed to hold on to it. And then they go again, but it's running into a blue wall.
And now there's a bit of space. Brilliant pass by Gossens to try find the danger men on the wing, but Leinster's defence once again holds up. It's all over the place in the middle of the park now.
The pressure again, the line speed again.
Make the tackle. Papier feeds
forward
the ball
pass.
out. That's
a
forward pass
100%.
And it is going to be called as a forward pass. What a first half by Leinster in the BKT URC Grand Final. They're looking to put storylines to bed. They've done so in the first half, but now they need to retain this form.
Welcome back to Croke Park for the second half of this URC Final 2025. Leinster in firm control. 19 points to 0 they lead, and pretty much every major incident in that first half went their way. Let's see if they can replicate that in the second half as James Lowe sends the ball up the pitch and out of play, and it will be a Bulls line out. They will be playing into the Davin end. That would be the Bulls on this occasion, which means Leinster will be looking to score tries into the Hill 16 end, Evan.
Some brilliant performances by Leinster in the first half, defending 18 phases right before the clock went red. Been a really fabulous performance so far. No changes, it seems, at half-time, as there's a little bit of treatment for Jack Conan right in the centre of the field. Both teams staying as they were. There was a change just before the break. The South African side did bring on Yannis Kirsten. Other than that, we remain as we were.
We're having a bit of a delay here. I'm not sure if it's an injury. No, it's one of the Bulls players is looking to change his boots. Off came the red, on went the blue. Maybe he saw how good the men in blue were in the first half. Maybe he's trying to infuse himself with a bit of that energy. But no, it's It's been a great performance for Leinster, but there's no rest for the wicked. A good few of these men, in fact, there are 12 of the Leinster players that are part of the British and Irish Lions squad this summer. As I'm counting up here, 9 of them are currently on the pitch. One more is on the bench in Ronan Kelleher. And the Lions will in fact be getting their campaign underway on Friday night, this Friday coming, in the Aviva Stadium against Argentina in the 1888 Cup. And you can bet your bottom dollar that head coach Andy Farrell will want to showcase as many Irish as possible in front of their own fans. The line-out went to the front, and now the Bulls are looking to play it through the backs. Van der Fleer is there again, as is Dan Sheehan, 2 of Leinster's most important forwards. The kick goes up high, James Lowe underneath it, and looks to use that left boot of his. Didn't catch it quite too cleanly, and the Bulls will be able to kick it again. Bit more tennis going on again, Evan.
Yeah, bit more tennis, and it's caught well by Jordy Barrett in what is his last game for Leinster before he returns to the Southern Hemisphere. It's a long kick in towards the Bulls' back row, and now progressing forward. Big tackle by that same Jordy Barrett right in the centre of the Bulls' defensive quarter. And a little bit of a trip, still very slippy out there.
There's a
Despite
break.
the sun coming out, there's a break on here, and no, referee blows the whistle.
Yeah, there was a really good opportunity there to get away. Grobbelaar thought he had the space to get through, but the referee decided to pull it back for a prior infringement, as you see here. Just a knock-on. Interesting that, because knock-ons don't normally have that long of an advantage, but they decided to go with it. As we get the first Leinster change of the afternoon, it is R.G. Snyman, the South African international, actually the only one on the Leinster panel that is going to get a taste of the final, and James Ryan is the one to make way.
Yeah, R.G. Snyman, who has been up for debate as arguably Leinster's player of the season, starting on the bench, which some questioned, some didn't question, some thought it was an impact sub, and that is obviously the thinking of Leo Cullen and Jackie Sneembar here. R.G. Snyman, of course, so far this season for Leinster, 4 tries in 22 appearances, and for the South African national team all time he has 2 tries, so he's been better in the blue than he has in the dark green. But R.G. Snyman will be looking to make a big impact here. Of course, is the only Leinster player to have actually won this competition, won the URC in 2023 with Munster. And of course, he's a 2-time World Cup winner, as most South Africans seem to be. Another bit of a halt in play here as we're getting a scrum set up. It would be Luke McGrath to feed in for Leinster, but the referee once again just setting his scrumming terms and conditions clear.
Snyman, one of 2 Leinster men who was in the URC Team of the Year alongside Jamie Osborne, who curiously is also on the bench. So as you said, Evan, probably looking for some impact sub, but Leinster have made plenty of impact themselves already in this first half, and will look to land their first trophy since 2021, their first trophy in front of fans since 2019, and their first trophy in front of their own fans since 2018. All of those were the former version of this competition, the Pro 14, as Leinster win the scrum, as Barron looks to send it inside and gets it back again, but the pass doesn't come to hand. I think there was an advantage there anyway, so Leinster could get away with that stylish, risk-taking, adventurous play through their backs, but they will come back for the penalty, which is right in front of the posts, and maybe Prendergast will look to kick his first penalty of the day.
Yeah, Barrett and Ringrose with a little bit of panache progressing over towards the Cusack side. Few little dummies, few little offloads here and there, but eventually the ball was fumbled, and it will now return to a Sam Prendergast penalty right in front of the posts at about 25, 6-ish metres out. You would like to think that Sam Prendergast will take this, as once again 2 infamous steps to the left, and he settles himself for his little jig towards the ball.
Well, we shouldn't count any chickens just yet. There is a swirling wind typically that comes around Croke Park. That's as a result of the hill letting the wind in from that side, which is the hill he's kicking into now. And he's kicked into it successfully. Straight between the posts, no worry at all. And it is Leinster 22, the Vodacom Bulls 0 after just over 44 minutes of play.
Even though they had such a comfortable lead, there would have been a bit of nerves for Leinster, maybe thinking, oh, I hope we can keep our lead. That will settle those. An early score always does the job. They scored after 6 minutes in the first half. And they've scored after 4 here in the second. And there is another change for the Vodacom Bulls as they look to try and get back into this contest. The kick is taken and we are underway once again here in Croke Park. It is caught by Tommy O'Brien.
Leinster have already surpassed their total points they got during the regular season meeting between these two. That one happened in South Africa, in Pretoria, and the Bulls were victorious by 21 points to 20. Leinster with 22 scored so far today. That's gone out over the touchline. Another line out will be coming the Bulls' way, and another chance for Johan Grobbelaar to get his team moving.
Yeah, the Bulls need to score almost now or never. They're on the Cusack stand side, and Grobbelaar, as Sean said, will be fitting in the line-out, so we'll see who rises highest. It's been very competitive in the line-out so far today. There have been a couple of comfortable ones for either team, and then most have been a contest. And there we go! Leinster intercepted. It is R.G. Snyman, the Springbok, who raised highest, but the kick clearance is blocked down, so the Bulls have possession once again, progressing towards the Cusack.
That kick, quite disappointing for Leinster, I would think, but the line-out went towards the back, and rising highest was, as you said, the South African international Snyman. Very well taken indeed. Now, Papier will look for the box kick. Should be comfortable for Luke McGrath, and is, and he in fact calls the mark. So Leinster once again will be able to slow things down and really take the pace and momentum and energy out of the Bulls.
2 of the last 3 BKT URC finals, the away team has won. It's not looking that way so far, but you can never call it too early. Quick line out is taken after the kick from Sam Prendergast, and the Vodacom Bulls are looking to get things moving fairly quickly here. Progressing towards the left side flank, and a bit of a high tackle gone in there, but the referee doesn't call it. Leinster bring down the Bulls attacker. Yeah,
they didn't have a lot of space to operate in on that left-hand side, so trying to be fast and snappy wasn't never really going to work for them, and it looks like they're going to go for the box kick again, which they do. But Jimmy O'Brien, looking at that, jumps, gathers, lands, and secures possession for the home side in this final. The first final since it was rebranded to the URC that has taken place outside South Africa. And perhaps I'm biased, but there isn't a better stadium that they could have put it in. Meanwhile, they're running it now, and it's Jordy Barrett. Jordy Barrett had some space, but he was brought down just in time when he had Low on his left. What a frightening twosome that is to be running at you if you're a Bulls man. Van der Fleer back now to, where's my notes? Tom Clarkson, there he is.
Yep, Tom Clarkson with the ball in hand now, and it is Luke McGrath who feeds it out. Prendergast
goes
for the kick, but has to revert because he was charged down viciously. It falls to Jordy Barrett, who battles his way through jersey pullers left, right and centre. Yeah. Cannon Mooney now chases after, just dives. He dives for one of the O'Briens, I think it was, but didn't have the ball in hand, so had to back out of it. But nonetheless, it will be a Vodacom Bulls feed in for the scrum.
I'm a little bit surprised there that Jordy Barrett didn't have a penalty in his favour, because even after the ball was no longer in his grasp, the Bulls man still would not let go of his jersey. That could have been considered obstruction and taking out the man off the ball. But no, it's going to be a scrum for the Bulls. And as we mentioned earlier, their success rate is 94.7% in their scrum compared to Leinster's 89.4, and they've conceded fewer scrum penalties than Leinster, 20 for the Bulls, 35 for Leinster. Statistically the best scrum in the URC, but Leinster did say at the start of the day that they were going to use the scrum to win penalties, and they have had the edge in that arena, as they have in pretty much every arena you can think of in this contest. As we look to the sideline,
Tommy O'Brien is down here,
and they're preparing like Jamie Osborne. Yeah,
Jamie Osborne is getting ready to come on. O'Brien, I think it's Tommy O'Brien anyways, is on his feet, and he is ready to continue on, it seems. But yeah, he's going to continue on here. Gets an applause from the Croke Park crowd, and we'll get ready for the scrum as the cameras here in the stadium point to Cian Healy, who of course will be ending his career as a rugby player very, very soon. What a superstar.
Fantastic career. Made his Ireland debut in 2009 with Leinster before that. Won a senior cup with Belvedere College as well. Wonderful servant to Ireland and Leinster.
What a player as well. You always knew there was going to be a couple of big hits when Cian Healy got ready to come on. We're getting ready to get this game back underway, and it will be Papier who puts it into the scrum.
I remember him running over the top of Richie McCaw in the Aviva once against New Zealand. and a scrum penalty to the Bulls. Those statistics proving themselves in practice here in the final. Penalty won by the South African side, and they will absolutely look to the corner because they need points. They need a lot of points, and they need immediate points. Willie LaRue will kick to the corner and set up the platform for them as best he can.
Yep, great kick from LaRue, puts it right in the corner, and as you said rightly, Sean, they need big points now, not just points. We're getting too late in the game for kicking for threes, although that is how they've won a lot of their contests. The most previous meetings between these two saw Friel get the winning kick. But anyways, here is a Bulls feed in to the line-out, and now they'll try maul it from right to left, but Leinster's pack, Leinster's defence is holding up absolutely beautifully here, and they're going to call Papier once again to try and fish this out. The ball is caught in between, and once again Josh van der Fleer with a heavy hit to bring down the Bulls attackers. Papier does go for the scrum now, and he's going to look to his left-hand side.
It wasn't just that they were holding firm, they were actually pushing them back. And I wonder now, will the Bulls start having deja vu of those two plays from earlier in the first half where the pressure from Leinster just would not allow them to go anywhere. But instead, the Bulls have won a penalty at the ruck, and they will look to set up a line out again. In fact, the new man on the pitch for the Bulls, Van der Merwe, he's replaced Josh Grabelaar as the hooker for the South African side. He will take his time, get all the moisture off the ball. The rain stopped, but I imagine the surface is still pretty slick. It's been raining all day here in Dublin. And the South Africans will come again. They will look to go to the front, and that normally sets up the maul, which we see. Now, can Leinster push them back again? Bit of a stalemate now at the moment on the 5 metre line, but the Bulls are starting to get forward momentum. They're driving towards the line. They look to get it down. The referee's coming around having a look, and he puts up the arm. And at long last, from a South African perspective, the Vodacom Bulls are on the board.
Yep, that is what they needed, and that is a try for the Vodacom Bulls. And it is going to be the new introduction, who you were just mentioning, Sean, Ake van der Merwe, who is going to get his 5th try in 26 appearances for the Vodacom Bulls this season. Of course, a man who has played in France, in England, playing for Racing 92 and the Sale Sharks, and of course for various teams in South Africa. Ake van der Merwe will get some points on the board. Now, first kick of the day for Johan Goossens, who is standing a lot more rigid than Sam Prendergast usually. He's going to try and sweep this one from the Hoganstown sideline straight over the uprights. Glances it with the right foot, it's sailing, and it is straight over the uprights. 7 points for the Vodacom Bulls. It is something, and now we have somewhat of a contest back in our hands.
Yes, 51 minutes gone in the final, and it's not panic stations for Leinster just yet, far from it, but it is a little bit of a reminder that there is still a game of rugby to be played. And the noise of the crowd is rising, not just the Bulls fans who are heartened by what they've seen, but the Leinster fans who will have been stung by recent failures and will be imploring their team not to take their foot off the throats of their opponents.
It's a kick from the fullback of the Vodacom Bulls. Sorry, not the fullback, apologies. It was Ambrose Papier who kicked it. It bobbles all the way over the halfway line, and it will go out for a Leinster line-out. Jimmy O'Brien just leaving it.
More changes coming in the Bulls' front row. It is a change of prop this time. Alulutu Shakweni is coming in, and Jan-Hendrik Wessels, the 24-year-old South African international, his URC final is over.
It is. Leinster get the ball back in play underway, and it is McCarthy progressing forward. Van der Fleer provides cover in the ruck, and it's popped out to the right by Luke McGrath, who really has had an impressive game so far in the absence of Jamison Gibson Park. Right on the halfway line here are Leinster, and Luke McGrath is going to opt for the box kick. Raises the right foot, scoops it in the air, and it's chased down by New Zealand's Geordie Barrett, who, brilliant tackle, and brings down the catcher. It'll now be the Vodacom Bulls' turn to try and get something working here. Goossens kicks it. It sails towards the palms of Sam Prendergast, who collects it nicely. He has a bit of breathing room. He's going to launch one straight back down the field.
Oh, I see what he did there. It was a knock-on by the man who went to take it. He didn't point the ball with the point facing right up in the air. He kind of had it side on, and so when he kicked it, it swirled, it bobbled. It'd be difficult to take that under control first time, any time, but especially difficult today when the grass and the surface is as wet and moist as it is. Handling errors are natural in these sorts of conditions, and Prendergast put the Bullsman under that pressure to see if he could get something out of it, and he did get something out of it. He got something out of it in the form of a Leinster scrum on the Bulls' 10-metre line.
Yeah, brilliant spot there, Sean, because that was quite impressive by Sam Prendergast, the 22-year-old Kildareman, of course, who got Newbridge College to a Senior Cup final that wasn't played because it was in COVID, and I think we're all glad we're past them times. Now it is a scrum, once again feed in for Leinster towards the Cusack stand side, just at the 40-metre line. There is a "Come on you boys in blue" ringing around the stadium now. That might be in a few weeks' time, and that will no longer be ringing because the Vodacom Bulls have won a penalty at the scrum once again. And I suppose now, Sean, their pack weight is paying their dividends.
Indeed, I had a look at the replay there, and the look on the Bulls man, who turned out to be the number 11, Sebastian de Klerk, the winger, a look of pure disgust, and one of the Bulls coaches just scratched his head and looked right down the camera as if to say, "Are you kidding me?" But the Bulls have the ball back, and they will have another opportunity to eat into this Leinster lead. No alarm bells ringing for Leinster just yet, but once again a gentle reminder that nothing is to be taken for granted, especially at this level of rugby.
Line out fed in and fed straight back towards the Bulls attackers, who are going to progress forward. Once again, line speed superb from Leinster. Geordie Barrett missing the tackle though, but it goes to a ruck eventually. And now the Vodacom Bulls are going to opt for the left flank to try and make some room. No, he swaps it once again. Comes back to Gosens, who beats one, beats two, almost beats Andrew Porter, but Porter with a brilliant wrap around and sweep of the legs to take him down. Now here comes Ambrose Papier. Beats one, beats two, but down he goes once again.
Yeah, the Leinster line speed once again is absolutely terrific, not giving the Bulls a second to do anything other than what comes naturally to them. Just get the ball, run with it for a bit, be tackled and recycle it. And that phase is just continuing itself over and over again in the centre of the park. And Leinster have a penalty. Leinster have a penalty, the pressure pays off, and the crowd rises to their blue heroes once again.
The Vodacom Bulls are lost for ideas here in Croke Park, and they need to find something soon, or Leinster might finally end their woes of not winning a trophy. There is going to be some swaps here for that Leinster side. It will be Ronan Kelleher who comes on to replace British and Irish Lion Dan Sheehan in the front row, and I believe it will be Jack Boyle who will come on alongside him, but we'll get confirmation of that in a moment. It has been a vicious effort from Leinster's front row.
I think I saw Rabbi Slimani. I might be
Slimani,
mistaken.
apologies, not Jack Boyle. It is Rabbi Slimani in the number 18 from France who comes on. So we now have 3 countries being represented in the Leinster team.
I believe that's 4 actually. You got Barrett from New Zealand.
Oh, it is, yeah. How can I forget Geordie Barrett with how impactful he's been in this game?
He might end up getting player of the match.
I also love how you knew it was Barrett. I forgot about it as well.
Oh no, I was just going like numerically.
Well, we have obviously Ireland, because it's a Leinster team, RG Snaim and Geordie Barrett, and Rabbi Slimani, as Leinster once again get advantage from the scrum. It's been played out and Sam Prendergast jinxed through a few, looking to progress forward, and there's a little bit of a push off there by the Leinster attacker, but they eventually go to ground at the halfway line.
Oh, there's a break now. Leading the charge is Dan Sheehan, who's become a wonderfully effective attacker from Leinster. I thought I saw a forward pass there to James Lowe, but it won't come to a try anyway, as grubber kick is going to go all the way over the dead ball line. And on a day where we thought this would be a battle of attrition, given the teams involved, given the conditions, we've been treated some absolutely electrifying play from Leinster.
Yeah, Leinster have really got things fancy, and RG Snaim with the dummy and then the offload to Andrew Porter. if James Lowe or a Hugo Keenan or something did that, you'd be saying, yeah, that's quite good. R.G. Sneeman, that's unbelievable. What a bit of play from him. Just dummies and then flicks it with his left arm. It then was found on the flank to James Lowe, who grubber kicked it along the left, took one of the little flag poles along the sideline with him, but unfortunately it bobbled out of play. A couple of treatments on the field for what is a pretty battered Vodacom Bulls side so far.
Well, Leinster are not without their walking wound, and I saw Andrew Porter take a knee. He's the last man standing in the original front row that started the day. Sheehan and Clarkson have made way for Kelleher and Slimani, so you'd expect to see him come off. Such is the nature of front rows in the modern game of rugby, so expect to see Jack Boyle, the 23-year-old, in the not too distant future. Nonetheless, it is a scrum to the Bulls. They are close to the Hogan stand touchline, not too far outside the Leinster 22. Leinster get a push on, and they've won the penalty. And Sam Prendergast, well, we saw this at half-time, and we've seen it again now. He is celebrating these defensive victories as much as any offensive achievements. Any try, any penalty.
Andrew Porter pumping with fist pumps towards the crowd, gets them going, and gives Sam Prendergast the ball in hand to kick a penalty here. Prendergast goes for the corner, makes touch.
When you got a defensive effect like that, why wouldn't you celebrate? James Lowe instead coming in to congratulate his forwards. And we just get another shot again of Porter giving it lows. The man who needed treatment not too long ago. I'd say the adrenaline pumping through him now. We could go all day.
Brilliant opportunity here for Leinster, as Ronan Kelleher will feed it in. Goes very long, but it's well risen by Leinster. And now just an opportunity here. Conan progressing forward. Luke McGrath at the back of the ruck, 5 metres out. And Leinster are looking to get their big heavyweights behind this one. But great defence from the Bulls. Very similar to what we've seen from Leinster all day so far. McGrath pops it back. No progression.
5 metres short, McGrath. Van der Fleer bounces off a pole and falls down 2 metres from his intended destination. Leinster continue to pile it through the forwards. They've men out right if they want to make this play a bit more expansive, but they seem pretty content to just crash their way over the line as well, instead of doing it with any sort of finesse. They're very close to the posts now, and of course in rugby, if you touch the ball against the post, that's a try.
Dives over, referee doesn't award it. There's a whole gaggle right under the post now, and it's popped back out.
Advantage coming to Leinster.
Yep, advantage given, potentially offside by the Vodacom Bulls.
Oh,
knock
Sneeman.
on. R.G. Sneeman drops it, but penalty advantage. Leinster will have another go.
Yes, indeed. They'll have a chance really probably to kill this game off now, because if they can get a fourth try, a bonus point try in league language, then, I mean, we've seen a lot of sporting miracles over the years, but I really don't see a way back for the Bulls at that point.
No, really don't see a way for it. And it will be Leinster who have the penalty here. Ronan Kelleher looking to have the ball in hand. The atmosphere's building. Both me and Sean have stood up. Many of the stadium have as well. This could be the killer if it goes over. Ball picked up. Here comes Ronan Kelleher into contact. Josh van der Fleer pops it out, it fumbles. The ball is in a Vodacom Bulls hand. The Bulls have survived. It's not necessarily a decent defensive effort. It's more a mistake from Leinster, but they've held on nonetheless.
And now the Bulls have taken their shot, and they were trying to play it along their own try line. Oh! Leinster secure the ball, sliding along the pitch to claim it, but then clipped a Bullsman ankle, sent him head over heels, flying through the Croke Park air.
Here we come then, Sneeman progressing forward. Luke McGrath finds Sam Prendergast, who's a little bit lost for ideas, so he finds the ferocious Jack Conan to break the line. We're about 19 metres out. There's an advantage once again for Leinster. Luke McGrath finds Sam Prendergast, who puts it through the hands. Just couldn't find O'Brien. Goes out of play, and once again Leinster will go back for the advantage.
I do wonder now if they'll take this kick, because they're not under any sort of pressure to be scoring tries. And I do recall in their semi-final that not taking the points that were on offer really hurt them as we get another look. Jimmy O'Brien sliding to claim possession, and I couldn't make out who that Bulls man was, but he was sent absolutely soaring.
A bruise in the morning, would you say?
I would imagine so.
Yep, definitely. Airborne on a rugby field. Not something you see too often.
Well, sometimes.
We used to
James
see
Lowe,
it from Simon Zebo.
James Lowe likes to fly up, claim it, but no, your ankles shouldn't be above your head. That's cards come into play more often than not when that happens.
It's a good rule of thumb to keep your ankles below
yes,
your head.
indeed.
Here comes Sam Prendergast then, who will be looking to strike another one over the post and make it 25-7 as there's an eerie silence. He steps up, sweeps it with the right, and puts it wide from a very close distance. That's very disappointing of Sam Prendergast, and his kicking woes from the game against the Glasgow Warriors is sort of coming back to haunt him.
Second miss of the day for the Leinster and Ireland number 10, and a let-off for the Bulls, and they probably need every slice of luck they can manage at this point. 18 minutes left to play, 15 points in arrears, and against the Leinster side, who are really feeling confident in everything they do.
They have it in the middle of the park now as Bulls and Cape Town's Nisam Carr is getting ready to come on. Leinster now have the ball and they're working it through the hands once again. Sam Prendergast finds Kelleher, who finds Geordie Barrett, who takes on 3 and jinks his way into contact, but does eventually get tackled. Luke McGrath will pop it back to his right. He has Josh van der Fleer and what is a pretty tired Andrew Porter for company. Once again, they go to ground and Kelleher looks to get involved. McGrath going to box kick it here, you'll feel. The Gary Owen, the up and under, whatever you'd like to call it. It's lofted into the air and Lowe chases down but can't quite catch.
Yeah, Lowe, he was really like a greyhound in the traps to run after that, but I think he might have knocked it on. Even if he didn't, the Bulls would have claimed possession anyway, as they try to work it through their backs, but they're so far away from where they want to be, the Leinster try line, that they're forced to box kick again. Jimmy O'Brien coming underneath it, but so too was Moody. And the Bulls have managed to get that back. That's very, very well done from the South African side. And Willie LaRue is eyeing a patch of grass in the Cusack side of the stadium. That patch has been taken up by Sam Prendergast now, and he'll send LaRue back that ball with interest.
Sam Prendergast puts it right back, and the Vodacom Bulls are going to look to go coast to coast here, not opting for the kick. Canon Moody, with what seems to be one of his very few touches of the game, it's then eventually struck of the left boots of Papier, and it will go out for a line out. That is, from Willie LaRue, it was kicked. That's one of his better kicks from the game, and there will be a couple of Vodacom Bulls changes now. We will see Mornay Smith and Nisam Carr make their way into the game.
Yeah, Coetzee, the number 8, is making way, and as is the prop, the tight head prop, Wilco Liu, wearing number 3. So, yeah, they will need to use everything they can get, the Bulls, including their men off the bench. But of course, Leinster have men to spring too, including Ross Byrne, who will be making his final appearance for Leinster if and when he comes off the bench today. Can't imagine he won't unless there's a catastrophe. Anyway, 15 minutes to go. Leinster win their own line out and are looking to launch their latest attack from just inside the Bulls' half. McGrath going with the box kick again. Tommy O'Brien looking for it. He can't get it. That's well done by de Klerk of the Bulls.
Sebastian de Klerk, I should say, raised his highest, and now the ball has progressed from right to left. Huge tackle by Jack Conan to bring down the Bulls' attack. It now falls to Willie LaRue once again, who raises high. Geordie Barrett dives to try and block it, and Leinster raise high and catch. Tommy O'Brien towards the Cusack stand side of the pitch, and raises highest, and a penalty is awarded. When it goes your way, it goes your way, and it really is for Leinster.
I did suspect that Tommy O'Brien had been caught in the air there. When he got the ball, there was a weird twist that he did before he came back down, as there was a Bulls man down injured. He's having an ice pack applied to his knee there. I think
it could be de Klerk, but don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, we're looking at the replay now. It is de Klerk, and yeah, he did land a bit awkwardly, and the penalty has been given for foul play. I imagine that is O'Brien being caught in the air by De Clare, who not only concedes the penalty but comes off worse for wear.
Official attendance 46,127 being announced here in Croke Park, and if any of those are listening along to us here in the ADC commentary, we do greatly appreciate it. Of course, this service is offered for most of the GAA fixtures coming up as well, in both the Gaelic Games, hurling, camogie and LGFA, so please do feel free to avail of this free service if you are coming to any of the fixtures in the next few months. Poor Tommy O'Brien got a little bit of a knee in the head there as well, totally unintentional from Canon Moody, who's wearing the number 24. Canon Moody, 9 tries this season for the Vodacom Bulls, 31 tries in total in his 63 appearances, but has been eerily quiet so far today, as there's a hiatus in play for a bit of treatment.
Yeah, I'm just taking the opportunity to look around. There's a great crowd here today. The Leinster PR team worked very, very hard in hoping to get their fans to come out to Croke Park today. It's their 5th game in total in Croke Park, their 4th in the last 2 years, their 2nd this season, and they will be very much looking forward at this stage, unless there's a catastrophe now, to be raising the URC trophy. I've got a little bit of information about that trophy as we get closer to it being handed out. It's called the Array. It's nicknamed Beastie, made by the same people who made the FA Cup, and apparently it can hold 12 litres worth of drink. Apparently the people who were advising on the design of the trophy specifically requested that it be able to be able to drink out of it. So
I'm sure that's been tested as Leinster progress forward, and Josh van der Fleer takes on what seems like a whole fleet of Vodacom Bulls. It popped back out to Jack Conan, now 5 metres away from the try line, right in the centre of the pitch, and Luke McGrath tried to pick and pop, but he was held up, and now he's progressing forward. Referee signals to a knock on, I believe, and it is the Vodacom Bulls still defending. Leinster still with ball in hand. They're appealing for a penalty. Oh, it's a penalty for Leinster. The Bulls were appealing, didn't get it, went the other way.
We have men being prepared on the Leinster bench. Ross Byrne will be coming soon. His last appearance for Leinster. And also Leinster Academy graduate Fintan Gunn. He was drafted into the panel just today when the news came out that Jameson Gibson Park would not be able to play. So Luke McGrath went from the bench to the starting 15. Spare a thought for Mammy Gunn out there somewhere, who probably didn't expect her son to be featuring in Croke Park today, but...
Can I make a really bad joke? Is he technically the son of a gun?
Not technically, he is the son of a gun.
No, not technically, he is the son of a gun, yes.
If of course, you spell gun Gunne.
Prendergast sweeps to the right foot.
Yeah, with all our banter, we almost missed another 3 points for Leinster.
We did. Fintan Gunn is on the pitch though now, sporting number 21. He impressed Leo Cullen on a 2-game tour to South Africa back in 2023 when he was playing for Terranure and UCD, and now he is playing in a BKT URC Grand Final. Great day for Fintan Gunn. It's not been a great day for the Vodacom Bulls. They'll get us restarted once again, and Gossens lifts it right towards O'Brien, who gets a lack of communication between himself and Geordie Barrett by the looks of things, but they clean that up nicely. It's pumped out over the Cusack stand touchline.
Here comes the biggest roar of the day as Ross Byrne takes the field for the final time as a Leinster player, and Fintan Gunn comes in as well to replace Luke McGrath. Sam Prendergast is the man making way for Ross Byrne as the entire stadium comes to their feet for a real Leinster stalwart. Over 180 appearances for the province on what I'm sure is a very proud day for him and his family.
So Ross Byrne, before he ships off to Gloucester, will be looking to add to his Leinster points tally. Of course, 1,194 it currently stands at. His old line out was fed in, but there's a slip from the Bulls and it was a knock-on. Meaning now Leinster have a scrum once again, and just everything is going their way with 12 minutes to go.
And that, in a sense, sums up the Bulls' day. No fault of their own, really. They've just come up against an absolutely awesome force. But the line-out goes to plan. They knock it, and they knock it on just because your man's feet goes out from underneath him, and the ball just bounces off his palm and very lamely falls forward. And it's going to be another scrum to Leinster, who are 11 minutes away from their first United Rugby Championship.
Yes, of course, it will be Jack Conan who will lift the trophy if Leinster are to go on and win it. And around the stadium there is the list of captains that have lifted it before him for Leinster. Luke McGrath, Harry Ringrose, Johnny Sexton, just to name a few. Leo Cullen, head coach, lifted it himself in 2014, with Nace man Jamie Heaslip lifting it 1 year before him. Another Nace man in the form of Jamie Osborne would love to make an introduction in this game, as I feel that it needs it, as Fintan Gunn is going to feed his first scrum here in a URC Grand Final. And there's a penalty advantage for Leinster as well, as he picks the ball out and they're running from right to left. It's a beautiful lofted ball to unleash James Lowe. He's going to look to try and run this one. Beats one, beats two, beats three, but he's brought to ground by the fourth. Brilliant recycling from Fintan Gunn.
An authoritative pass by Gunn there out towards Jordy Barrett. Van der Fleer looking to secure the ball in the ruck, which he does. Gunn, Jimmy O'Brien, Ringrose looking to make sure that they don't get turned over again, doing Van der Fleer's job for him there. Oh, that's another big hit. The Bulls, credit to them, are still tearing into these tackles with everything they have, but the dynamism of Leinster really on show, and you just get the sense that something could tear them apart. I think Joe McCarthy was almost torn apart by a tackle there, and he's lost the ball, and Leinster will come again. James Lowe goes with the outside of his left boot. Spinning kick, but the Bulls number 23 hands is up to it.
And it is
but the handling is not from Willie LaRue. And he just booted the ball out of play in sheer frustration. The boos rained down. But you understand the sheer, pure, unadulterated frustration on a day that was supposed to be a great one for the Bulls, putting their URC final hoodoo to rest. But instead, it's going to be much like it was against the Stormers in 2022, much like it was against Glasgow Warriors in 2024, a defeat to Leinster here in 2025.
Third time not the charm, and Willie LaRue has not had a good day at the office. He's just performed excellently in big finals, but this will not be one made with fond memories. It is going to be a Leinster scrum right in the centre of the field on the 21-metre line. They are looking for another try to pretty much put the cherry on top of the cake. It'll be Fintan Gunn who will feed into the scrum, and no, he won't, because the referee is giving a free kick to Leinster.
I think I spotted a big smile coming through the gum shield of Fintan Gunn. He can just enjoy himself now on an occasion that he maybe dreamed about but couldn't have realistically expected to happen for him. Not many rugby players imagine that they'll get the chance to play in Croke Park, but these 23 Leinster players and these 23 Bulls players, to be fair, are living that reality, have been doing so for the last 72 minutes and will continue to do so for 8 minutes more.
We'll go again. Bit of deja vu, but once again it'll be a Fintan Gunn feed into the scrum on the 21-metre line, and it is collapsed once again. So we'll try again, as we are into the final 10 minutes here of this one. Clock is stopped at 72:27, as the Italian official is just having a bit of a conversation with the front rows. He doesn't really want any more nonsense. We're almost at the end of the game.
I can see some flags up on the higher level of the Cusack stands. I see a Leinster flag, I see a Palestine flag, I see a South Africa flag that is actually a little more droopy than it was when I last set eyes on it. Probably reflecting the mood of a lot of South African rugby fans in the stadium at this point in the game.
I would say definitely is reflecting the mood of a few of them, but there's been a great South African turnout here in Croke Park, and we do hope that this great stadium hosts more URC games in the future. Now we finally get this scrum underway after what seemed to take about 5 minutes, and Leinster have space here on the wing, and Fintan Gunn is driving to the line on his debut. Oh, what a moment for Fintan Gunn, not his debut for Leinster, his debut in a URC final. What a moment for Fintan Gunn across the line to take a try.
You talked about the cherry on top of the cake. There it is right there. And the subtle smile coming from Fintan Gunn that I spotted earlier has grown into a beam that could light up Dublin City tonight.
That was brilliant.
It
Seeing
was
him
brilliant.
go over, the stadium erupted. They knew what this meant for the young man. He won a Grand Slam with the Ireland under-20s in 2023. Dare I say that moment just felt better in front of a packed Croke Park.
The
And
moisture
now,
on the pitch did well for him there. He started sliding 2 meters out. I'm not sure he could have got there without it. But the applause rises up again for the young man. And Ross Byrne will look to add the extras. Not the easiest kick. He could have wanted a more simple kick on his last day for Leinster, but he lands it anyway. And that is emblematic of how the day has gone as the blue flags fly all around Croke Park, from the Cusack to the Hogan, the Davin and the Hill. It's going to be a great night for Leinster.
Couldn't have said it better. It's a great day. It's going to be a great night for Leinster, and we're getting underway once again as the one final score in this game. Geordie Barrett is going to enjoy the last 6 minutes of this as he grubber kicks it in the middle of the pitch, but it is picked up by the Vodacom Bulls, a very tired Vodacom Bulls at this stage, and it is their substitute scrum half there, Fintan Gunn, who pops it right over to the left-hand flank. It is Zach Berger who is the replacement scrum half of the Bulls, but they get a little bit bogged down towards the Cusack side.
The Bulls still gamely trying. They try a crossfield kick. Jimmy O'Brien intercepted it, but he knocked it on. So the Bulls will take the possession back. Under pressure, under a lot of pressure, was Nizam Kar, and the referee decided that the advantage was no longer accruing. And it will be a scrum to the Bulls just inside their own half. Underneath the Hogan stands, right under our noses as we look at it from our audio descriptive commentary position up here on level 7. The referee just setting the point where the scrum should, the two packs I should say, should meet in the scrum. Evan mentioned it earlier, I can't help but notice it myself. A lot of orange boots on display, particularly in the pack. Yeah, and even looking at the backs, I see 1, 2, 3 men in a row with the orange boots. Must be something of a trend in D4, maybe down in South Africa as well.
I would say they're all Arctic Monkeys fans, and we've a load of fluorescent adolescents on the pitch, but they're all quite a bit older than that at this point.
One would hope. Maybe not the most recent try scorer, Fintan Gunn, still 21 years old.
As Vodacom Bulls get underway well.
Oh, they knock it on
it's
again.
It's a handling issue. The ball was popped back towards the Hogan stand side.
Oh, you don't like to see that. These sorts of errors that are not born of any malice or lack of skill or anything like that. It's just pure unlucky sadness, really. I mean, the Bulls, I think they would have been okay with coming here, putting up a fight and losing gallantly, but I mean, that hasn't really been the case. They've just been completely overwhelmed by a superior side, and they'll be left now wondering what exactly happened on this their big day.
And that was their homegrown from Pretoria 95 appearance captain Ruan Nortier who made that mistake, which really goes to show that it's all gone wrong. And now the subsequently following scrum has seen a penalty awarded to Leinster as well, as it was drive forward, it spun. And now Leinster will have one last opportunity to go and maybe break closer towards the 40-point mark. Ross Byrne with ball in hand, another one of our bright, luminescent orange boot runners. He sweeps it with the right foot out towards the corner. Leinster are going to have one more go at this one.
I see Leo the Lion with his drum just revving up the crowd even more, as if they needed it. They're going to get their first trophy in 4 years, which for a club the size of Leinster, the prestige of Leinster, has been akin to a famine. Ronan Kelleher gets a word from Fintan Gunn. Still as focused and driven as ever, Leinster, even with victory well in hand. They go to the maul again. Van der Fleer, Kelleher coming down the side. The Bulls try to knock him into touch. He persists though, 5 meters short. Oh, knock on. And the unluckiness that befell the Bulls not long ago falls on Leinster now, but they'll brush it off. It'll be water off a duck's back to them. They've won the URC.
Fintan Gunn actually being too energised, I think, was almost the problem for that, because he flicked it at some pace towards Max Egan off his right shoulder, and Egan unfortunately just couldn't handle it. Player of the match has been awarded to number 6, Ryan Bard, from St. Mike, or formerly of St. Michael's College, now of Leinster, of course. Brilliant game from Ryan Bard, but there was a number of man of the match selections for me. Who would you go for, Sean, if you had to pick one?
I don't. They've been fantastic to a man. I almost want to say Jordy Barrett, just because of that try. I mean, the audacity to do that in the final of this magnitude is really, really something. As we can see, the Leinster replacements, the Leinster men who were not in the panel today, just congratulating each other. They'll be getting ready to receive their URC medals not long from now. And the only question I have left now is where the trophy presentation is going to happen, because normally this sort of stuff happens on the pitch. They construct the stage. But I do know there was at least one URC official, an Irishman, who was very heavily insisting that they stick with tradition here in Croke Park and do it at the Hogan stand.
I think it's in the Hogan stand, as far as I know.
I would want to see that. I think it's the first non-GAA trophy that I can recall being handed out here, certainly for a very long time, maybe back in the days when the GAA focused on athletics, not just hurling and Gaelic football.
Very
but
good point.
I think that given our surroundings, given the historical nature of the Hogan stand, I think that the Leinster boys want to climb the steps of the Hogan stands.
Let's see then, as there is less than 10 seconds to go in this one. The clock has almost gone red, but knowing the way rugby has gone recently, they're going to keep pushing it on, keep ploughing on, or will we see? No, James Lowe is looking for it. And Leinster are BKT URC champions for the very first time since it rebranded. The woes are over. Leo Cullen wanted to win a trophy. He told them, focus on your own performance and this day will be yours. It is. Leinster win on their own turf. Final score 32, Leinster 7, Vodacom Bulls. Sean, what a game for the team in blue.
Just a complete performance by Leinster. From the first minute to the last, they never really lost their momentum. And the Bulls were just being put under savage pressure, even when they did manage to get their hands on the ball. They couldn't do anything to stop the tsunami coming their way. Leinster, deserved winners. They've topped this league numerous times over the years, but they haven't had any silverware to show for it until now.